Today, I bring you a rather intense horror movie. The film was released in 2006, and what makes it particularly terrifying is that it is based on true events. The methods used by the psychopathic killer are incredibly cruel. Alright, let's get straight to the story. In a desolate forest, a woman wakes up inside a wooden box. She has no idea why she has been imprisoned there. At this moment, she starts banging on the box in an attempt to escape. What makes it even more horrifying is that the surroundings are filled with bones and remains. Driven by fear, she manages to break the lid of the wooden box and successfully escapes. But as soon as she gets out, the killer, who is waiting outside, knocks her unconscious. The killer drags her to a large tree and inserts a blade into her abdomen. When the woman wakes up again, she finds herself tied to the tree. The only thing keeping her balanced is a small piece of wood under her feet. The killer gives her a chance to survive. He tells her to remove the stitches from retrieve the wound end on her stomach. If she can get the blade, she can cut the ropes that bind her. Driven by a strong will to survive, the woman manages to retrieve the blade and cut the ropes around her. She threatens the killer, asking if he wants to continue the game. Unable to endure any more of this torture, she chooses to pull the trigger and end her own life. The scene shifts. 2 weeks later, we meet the main character, Roy, a single woman working in the corporate world. Having lived with her 6-year-old daughter for many years, Roy now feels a bit lonely and decides to find herself a partner. She goes on a blind date today. The man's name is Jack, and he's a year or two younger than her. Through their conversation, Roy finds herself liking Jack. After the date, Roy returns home and sees her daughter sleeping soundly. Not wanting to disturb her, she quietly enters the house. Today, Roy went on a blind date. Since there was no one to look after her daughter, she had to ask her sister to babysit. However, Roy's footsteps woke her sister. Her sister said the child was asleep in the room and, seeing Roy return, mentioned that she had something else to attend to before leaving. Afterward, Roy went to her daughter's room and saw her sleeping soundly. Feeling exhausted from the day, Roy turned off the light and went to bed herself. But when she woke up, she found herself lying in a wooden box. She felt an intense pain in her abdomen, as if she had undergone surgery. Fortunately, with a strong will, Roy managed to open the box. Injured and struggling, she climbed out. Despite the pain, her first thought was for her daughter's safety. Noticing a light nearby, Roy staggered toward it. Near a hollow tree, she found her daughter's toy. Overcome with grief, she feared her daughter had been harmed. At that moment, the killer appeared and knocked her unconscious with the butt of a gun. When Roy regained consciousness, she found herself tied up. The killer approached and handed her a wooden stick, telling her that if she wanted to survive, she had to remove the stitches from her wound and retrieve the blade inside to cut the ropes. What Roy didn't know was that another woman had failed this challenge and died tied to a tree. But Roy thought of her 6-year-old daughter, whom she hadn't yet found, and summoned her courage. Using the stick, she painstakingly removed the stitches from her wound and, with immense determination, managed to retrieve the blade hidden inside her body. With all her strength, she cut the ropes and fell to the ground. Seeing her succeed, the killer stitched up her wound and even applied some herbal medicine to her injuries. When Roy woke up again, she found her feet shackled with iron chains. It seemed the killer intended to keep her captive. The killer gave her some food and water, but Roy, preoccupied with thoughts of her daughter's safety, had no appetite. She kept asking about her daughter's whereabouts, but the killer avoided her questions and changed the subject. By the third day, Roy woke up and noticed a small knife on a piece of wood nearby. Seeing that the killer wasn't around, she prepared to retrieve it. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you. See you next video.